as you know, both me and my brother suffer bad dyslexia, and I'll probably pronounce this wrong again. But do correct us. I don't. If I say something wrong, do correct us. We're always good with people telling us. No, it's not like that. Welcome back to the show, guys. I've already clicked record. Sorry, dude, because I like it being quite random. We have a special geek out session with I'm gonna say it wrong. I know I am. Hakaan, right?
Hakaan, yeah.
Hakan, there you go. I got it. I got it. I got it. I mean, where do I start? We have been following each other for a little while,
Yeah.
and you show the utmost love for the work that we do, which I'm super grateful for. I want to give you your flowers before we get into this episode and say massive thank you for your contribution on likes, shares, comments, all the rest of it, and just being a part of the journey as well, which is absolutely amazing. How have you been, bro? What's been happening?
Uh, Surviving.
Yeah,
That's like probably the best way I can really describe it, just surviving. Uh, but how are you? Like, how are you doing?
me. I'm struggling,
Yeah.
dude. Oh, it's insane. I'm struggling. It's hard. It's not easy. I think for me personally, I think the over time, like we all talk about, uh, and we always share the good parts of that on socials. Is that
Yeah.
this is the good things that have happened, but we don't share about the struggles and the mental health things. And I think the podcast has changed over that time period as well. And it's like work struggles, financial struggles, what's happening in the country at the moment, now what's happening around the world, which has affected me quite deeply. Uh, Having kids is, you bring them up into this world, and you're thinking they're going to be safe. And I think that's what's affected me the most with what's happening around the world at the moment now, and just kind of daily survival of just trying to do the best you can. And it's hard. It's not easy. But then I don't want to sound like what's it, like a broken record, like like a victim in the process as well.
Sure.
Like I still get up in the morning, I still do what I have to do, I still search for jobs, I still uh, try and hustle bustle, which we've become a society of make sure you get your rest in there as well. We don't do that either.
Yeah.
Uh, but alhamdulillah, in general, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm waking up, I'm getting to do my salah. I've got food on the table, roof over my head, alhamdulillah. So like things like that, I am super grateful for. Like I don't think in the past 2 years I've been more grateful about the surrounding materialistic things that we've got here. And then adding the good stuff, which is getting to be the geek that loves to do the things he can. But even for me, that's been very hard to do with time. And we recently, early this year, got my sister involved into what we do as well, which we maybe have to change the name. Uh, but she's starting to do the interviews, go to the screenings for us, and that kind of frees up some time for me to be the guy who sits in the back. I'll do a couple of episodes here and there and do the main podcast, but that I don't have to be out and about. I can spend some time with the kids. I think for me now is what time I can give to them. So yeah, there you go. There's a long-winded answer of how I've been.
No, that's
Yeah,
great. Yeah, I loved it.
yeah. It's like yeah, as you said, it's a daily struggle. It's not easy, and it's like I think at the time right now we're at as well mentally, uh, people just fake, right? People just fake, and they like talking fake stuff. And it's like I think I've come to a point now where it's like even though our platform was used for the podcast itself, and it still is, but that I can be open minded and I'll find one or two people that you can connect with, and the rest will hate, which is part of society and the world we live in. That we're so divided at the moment now, regardless of race, culture, religion, and all the rest of it, that it's like we've come to the 21st century and we still ain't learned as human beings. We still haven't learned as human beings.
We're still in. It's almost like we're still in like a fixed point in society. We always have read stories of what happened during like 1800, 1700, or even like 1900, and we all talked about in history how these things were the living for these people, for the people back then. And now that things have changed slowly, maybe like environmentally it's changed. But as people, we have not really changed. There's still discrimination, there's still racism, sexism, and all these different things. It's still brewing. And even
Mm.
in today's culture with young boys as well, and that's one topic that we should probably talk about, which is
Yeah.
like how social media has completely changed how young men are like viewed, right? Because in my opinion, the way I see it, young men don't really have an identity. It's more like an identity crisis.
Oh my God. Yes. It's so important. It's so important. So, uh, well, 44 this year anyway, so I'm old school. So, I grew up in an era where I'm a mixture of both worlds,
Hmm.
having no technology to learning how to use technology. And I think it's really important right now with what social media does because it has its good things, but it has the bad is like
Yeah,
overwhelmingly going, yeah, like insanely crazy now. And you're right, so like social kind of gatherings and the kind of I had identity issues. Oh my God, growing up in my 20s, I couldn't even accept the fact that I was Muslim after what happened in 9/11. Didn't even like telling people that. I used to tell people I was coolie at one point. So like that's how bad it was, and I can admit that now. And boy, am I ashamed. But you end up seeing the world for what it is later on a little bit. And some people have to learn the hard way. I have to learn the hard way to kind of come to a point where it's like accepting culture, accepting the religion, accepting who I am, where I've come from, but then learning history as well. Like I mean, we learned whitewash history. We learned whitewashed history here. So that made it even more difficult because you felt like, all right, I'm an outsider and I'm learning their history, which is narrated for them. And then when you grow up older and you start doing, I didn't learn a lot of stuff till after my past like 35 of like the world and how, you know, how the narrative is to what I've learned now. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And identity crisis is probably one of the biggest things for any teenager growing up now, whether it's uh, trying to be accepted, even accepting who you are, and having, even the home issues as well, which is hard enough as well, because your parents are not accepting the way you are because they don't seem to understand it themselves and they're still learning in the process as well.
And also with like how social media is, you're always going to be having these influencers, like say, like take your Andrew Tates and all them, man. The way that they've impacted young boys, and like how that's been very reflective in today's culture, because with many different murder cases as well, and even like the way they interact with women online, it's just kids nowadays don't have a like a Mr. Rogers. They don't have that. They they have an iPhone, they have an iPad, and they go on seeing Andrew Tate and all his clones just spewing this hateful like speech.
It's
And like
horrible. Yeah.
that's the thing that worries me about these kids nowadays. I don't even like have a hatred in my heart. It's more to do with just feeling sorry for them.
Mm. You're right. You're 100% right. I see that as well. I do some of the workshops that I've done up in like Birmingham across the country when I do these art workshops is how far away they have been taken away from this reality because of social media and what it presents, where it's like the tangible things are right here, right in front of you.
Mm.
Like you're an amazing artist. You do not need to compare yourself to other people. I always say that to all my, I'm going to call them fellow friends now because we have become friends in the process. Is that uh, everybody has this ability to bring something to the table, and I think social media doesn't show that value because like you're doing it for likes and views. And once you detach yourself from that, it's like, listen, it's always nice to have a platform like the era we live in now because somebody will notice you and somebody say, oh, this guy does this guy or she does this, and something will happen. I think it's always nice to see it as a portfolio, which I do. All of my stuff is portfolio or memories. I see it. For
Mm.
me personally, like it numbers, like I had like a midlife, not even a midlife, I'm almost saying midlife, like a crisis just before my brother got married a
Mm.
couple of years ago. Just think, just before or after COVID, sorry, just after COVID, and the numbers were killing me. I was like, what the hell is going on? The numbers are killing me. The views, the likes, the followers, and I'm like, why have I like when I once I went to Singapore and kind of deleted all the apps off my phone, I realized within that couple of weeks, my brother said it as well. Oh, you haven't posted anything while you've been on a holiday, and I was like, I deleted the apps before I jumped on the plane to say, this has broken me for some weird reason, like
Like you're
because
done. Like
yeah, I was focusing on
the
not
likes.
enjoying, yeah, the likes, the views, and I was like, they
So it
don't
was
mean
like
nothing.
you were too focused on, okay, how can I make something that would get me lots of likes and views and stuff like that without actually caring enough about the art itself.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
coming to that realization towards the during that holiday and the end of that holiday as well was that it wasn't about that. It was about the journey. It was about us enjoying things. There's a reason why we got into this is because of the love of it, and
Mm.
we got noticed because of that. Then we ended up becoming what I became. I was hunting for that. The hunger changed from creating art and giving your honest opinions on things to shit. I just want likes. I just want the views. And I think a lot of people find that very hard to kind of come to now because, like, since all of the madness over the past 2 years, what's happening in Palestine at the moment now, my viewership has just died out completely, which hasn't affected me because I've actually reached to people that actually want to know about my thoughts on it and want to talk to me about things and have decent conversations. You know, I've had a couple of Zios jump at me at the beginning of it, and it's like they ended up realizing, hold up, this guy is not trying to incite things. He just wanted to know more and learn more and understand more. And that there's two different sides of the story, but the information in between is not matching up. You know, you go back and then people are taught different. People are taught hate. So yeah, all of that. It just kind of said like whatever information and whatever creativity I can put out there is for the one. It's not for the masses. That need the mentality of trying to reach the masses needs to change because thinking you're going to go viral and something's going to pop off in your life, where it'd be a 3 to 6 month period, something will happen and then it will drop off and you would have to find a job. You're going to have to make some money and survive somehow because that little highlight of a video, it doesn't, it's not a lifetime thing. And I think that's where people use that as entitlement. Because I've heard it in so many conversations. Well, I got 100 plus followers. You ain't got shit. How you doing what you're doing? And I'm like, excuse me? And I said, that's the mentality that you feel like you're owed that.
It's like
Uh,
the ego is like clashing almost.
it's crazy. And I'm in that world. So having that conversation on a several basis where you're like, excuse me? Like
Mm.
when somebody asks you like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh man, do I slap this person back into reality or do I just bite my tongue and just kind of go from there? Anyway, you guys, some of them people are probably watching when they watch this, gonna watch this, and you know how I'm like. I'm straight up. I have gone way past that fake guy who was looking for attention. To I'll tell you how it is right now, and I feel like that's connected me with more people creatively, and and me on a personal journey as well. Like I feel freeing when I say stuff like that because it's like, oof, man. There's, I suppose, some people have to go through that selfish stage to kind of come to a point where they realize, oh shit, that didn't mean nothing. You can have however many people, and when you got no money and you've got bills to pay and you got food to put on the table for your kids,
Mm.
what are you gonna do? Like, what are you going to do? You know, I'm
That's
willing to sweep the streets. That shit don't mean nothing to me. I'll pick up bins. I'll be whatever. None of that. A job is a job for me. Like that. I think I've come to that realization. Like we come from a culture and a society where they want to see you as a doctor, dentist, whatever, blah blah blah, accountant. I grew up in that shit, and it was like I didn't become none of that. I ended up going and doing my own path. And yes, it's been a struggle. It's not been easy. It still is now as an adult. You're kind of like, holy shit, I'm still trying to do this, but I will do whatever it takes now that I've got responsibilities. And I think social media has kind of taken that responsibility away from people where they've kind of just come to a point where they're like, no, I'm entitled to this shit. You know, I should be there. I should be walking that red carpet and I should be there, but you only got like this many. And I'm like, fuck off. I should
Yeah,
slap you back to reality. But yeah, anyway.
like following your passions is always going to be uh, a difficult road to stay on because you don't know if this is going to sustain for quite a long time because 3 months go by, 6 months, and then nothing's going to happen in those 6 months. So if anyone's really if anyone's listening and they have a passion that they're striving for, my best advice, and this is literally like a very cookie cutter kind of advice,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
true, just stay on it. Like really, just stay on it. If it's something that you love, you stay on it. Like there's no, what ifs or but. But if you truly love what you're doing, your craft, it could be anything: music, directing, writing, acting, or whatever. Just stay on it because realistically, the only person you're going to disappoint is yourself. Because then you could be thinking like, oh, I should have done this. I should have, you know, gone this way, or like, why did I not stay on it? Or I wish I would have done this. And it's a very long journey, and you have to accept yourself and accept like this is who you want to be, and
Mm.
you have to accept that yeah, there's going to be some walls that you're going to have to get through and or you have to go over, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Like
100%, 100%.
it was never meant to be easy.
It never will be easy. I'm telling that to you now. It will never be easy. I think people have got this perception that, life's all good and everything's all right. It's not. It's going to get even more shittier.
Mm.
We've seen it in the past 3 years since COVID. After COVID, it's been a shit show. It's been an absolute shit show. Sorry, I swear a lot. Uh,
No,
it's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. And all it's done to the general folk is make it harder for us.
mm,
And they don't realize the reason why I don't vote and all the rest of it because it don't help anything. It hasn't helped anything in a long time. And a lot of people will tell me differently, you got to do this, you got to do that. But I just feel personally for me, listen, man, I'm only looking out for my peeps right now.
mm,
I do not have the time to kind of fathom the madness that's going on out there right now. But you have to keep continuing, and it's never going to be easy. You're going to have some steady moments, but you look at that heartbeat monitor, man. That's exactly how life is. That it's just going to be up and down all over the place. It'll be steady for a moment, and then it will get something. I mean, we get challenged. I mean, Allah doesn't challenge us or give us hard times if he knows we're not going to make it, if we're not going to push through, if we're not going to persevere and endure the madness of the world that we live in and how we are, as, which direction we're going to go. Even though it's laid out, there's going to be bumps and turns along the process. And as you said, it's just, you have to push through it. Passion is a hard thing. Passion is a hard thing. I mean, being an artist, growing up in a strict Islamic house, doing the devil's work, uh, it was tough. It's only now they've kind of like, oh shit, he's getting paid for it.
mm,
Yes, because it's taken long enough to get to that point. Because I couldn't accept it myself.
mm.
When you don't really have the people that love you in the process to accept what you're doing, that makes it difficult. I mean, now I get to wake up and my kids saying, I want to be an artist. Oh my God. I'm going to encourage them as much as they can to find different avenues of that. And I know the hardships that they'll go through. And so I only tell my oldest daughter's 6 and I tell her, it's not going to be easy. And she goes, I know, Daddy. But I was like, practice. If you don't practice, you're not going to find the different ways of working this art process. And being an artist, yes, definitely. We go through our own mental kind of journey in the process as well of trying to figure out like different ways of doing art forms and how it mentally makes you feel. And like, even I'll be honest, the past year I've probably done 3 or 4 pieces in the past year just because I haven't been mentally there myself to try and uh, push it out there. But it's weird. It's like I don't eat my own medicine. I don't take my own medicine when I teach people. But it's like every artist has his own process. Like I'll have my moment where good 3 months I'll create some of the best work in the world, and the next 3 months will be the hardest part. Yeah, it's
Like
crazy.
going back to
Yeah.
identity crisis and the development of like of a person. I've had my own sense of identity crisis when I was like what, maybe like 17.
Mm.
Uh, this is when I moved from London to Newcastle, which is where I'm currently
Okay.
at. and I was attending college. I was a very different person before I even went to college. I was very quiet. I was very, kept to myself. I did have a group of friends, but I didn't really stand out in comparison to everyone else. So when I moved to Newcastle, I thought it would be a good opportunity to change myself, because these people don't know me. I can show them who I am.
Hmm.
But I took it into a different route, and I became very stubborn. I became very, unfortunately, very egotistical.
Okay.
Um, like I barely did any of the work, even when my friends in my classroom were telling me, "Yo, Hakaan, you gotta do some work, mate. Like otherwise, these teachers are gonna break your neck. You gotta do some work." And bless them, like they were trying to keep me on like a straight path. I just back then I was so in my head that
Yeah.
I thought I was invincible at one point during this time, and I look back onto it and I cringe every single time I think about it. And I had a 40-minute therapy session in the classroom. One of the teachers came by the table and she asked me, Hakan, why do you think you're the best artist in the classroom? And I think I said to her, have you not seen anyone else's work?
Oh.
It's like I was such a dickhead back then. But like I had to be humbled so
Yeah.
badly that even she was like, Hakan, you do realize that there are some artists who are better than you, right? And I was like, yeah, but they're not in this classroom. Just like,
Wow.
I was such a little shit back then. And it cost me my chance to get into second year of college. Like I
Hmm.
completely screwed myself over, and I blamed all my teachers. I blamed them all. I was like, you know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to go to a different course, and I'm going to prove I'm a good artist. I did digital design. Uh, Fucking hell, I hated it so much. Like I was probably because it was to do with computers. I'm not really that tech savvy with computers. It was all to do with
Yeah.
Photoshop and Illustrator. I couldn't do that.
Hmm.
And this was during the time before COVID hit. So this was like 2019 up to 2020. And I was probably at my worst, like
Hmm.
mentally. I just had no sense of who I was and like who I was trying to impress. And this is like one of the things that I, want the viewers to understand is that like it's never too late to change and it's never too late to grow. And even for a guy like me, I've been known as the kind, nice gentleman, but even I struggled to even know who I am, and
Hmm.
I spiraled out of control. And I got on bad terms with my teachers, and
Oh.
I wasn't a like a grade A kind of guy. Back then, they probably viewed me as like the weakest student in the classroom just because I didn't do much of the work. And I was at my most loneliness as well because I was away from my friends. I was in a different
Hmm.
building to them, and I had to wait every single time during lunch just to meet up with them. But then sometimes they wouldn't come up because they're busy doing their own little project that they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was alone. I was angry. Like I was just so by myself and I hated it. And in turn, I hated myself because of the mistakes I did, and I couldn't do anything to change it. And I soon went back to education because at that point I was just done. I didn't want to do anything with education or like I wanted to leave it. I go to my friend's party and they're all very drunk and they start crawling to me and they grab my hand and they're like, Hakan, you're such a fucking amazing artist. We want you to go back to education and get a degree because you're so good at what you do. So like forget everything that happened in first year. Can you just go back to education for us at least? Everyone started like coming in, grabbing my hand and like giving me their full support. And I just looked at them and I was like, okay, fine, I'll go back to education for you all. I go back to doing art and design. I
Hmm.
apologize to my teachers and saying like, can we start again? And they were up for it. They said, look, what's happened happened. if you want to change, just prove it to us that you've changed.
Mm.
And so I did. Granted, I didn't really have any friends when I came back, but I did way more better than my teacher thought I would. I exceeded their
Good.
expectations, and uh, and now look at me. I'm a uni graduate now, so
That's
I've
great to
I've
hear.
I've completely turned my life around. But then again, it was always like a struggle to even know who I am, because I was like, I'm not just the kind guy, right? Like there is more to me, but I'm not also egotistical, because that's not me. So I needed to find a way to like understand how I am and the layers that I kind of have. And the way that I am now, that's me. Like this is
Mm.
how I am fully. I am a bit of a fuck up. I do. But I'm also someone who's very loyal. I
Mm.
want to bring people up with me. I don't want to bring people down. Like if one of my friends did something, like they did something cool like directing, or they did something odd than directing, I will hype them up. I would be
Yeah,
like the big hype man. But and again, that's just me. Kind person, nice. Those two things are very different.
definitely.
I've
Yeah.
always like back then, I guess you could call me like a nice man, like a nice guy. But I think nowadays, kind is probably how you would best describe me.
Kind. Yeah. Kind is a bit. Well, nice is a. I don't know. It's a weird one. I was that nice guy. I was that nice guy. You know. Same thing, man. Fuck. I fucked up college. Fucked up uni. I tried so hard, but I wasn't an educational type of person. All the literature and all the programming and all that shit, it just didn't work with me. Like I'm a hands-on person. I've realized that now. Just like my dad, hands-on, get the work done, good work ethic, kind, kind. Yes, I am kind, but at times you gotta earn that respect and kindness, though. I think that's the important part. You have
Yeah,
to earn that, and like, I mean, as you said, for the listeners and people that are watching this, is that uh, you could change in that moment. And you had good friends that kind of said, "Come on, man, you're amazing, man. Come on, get back into it."
yeah.
Which kind of makes you fit, having that moment of to kind of pour their hearts out in that moment, even though they were drunk. Um, but
They were
truth
like
comes out. Truth comes out. So that's amazing. So they knew. You know what I mean? They knew,
they knew
which was
yeah
amazing.
they knew I had potential. Like they obviously knew it. It's just that I didn't have the discipline to actually do the work back then.
Yeah,
But like now I do. Now doing uni and all that. Even though I struggled doing uni, I still put in so much effort. And this is
good.
another thing I wanted to talk about. Like the struggle within uni.
Mm.
Um, I think I struggled more in uni than I did before. Um, so I'm autistic, right? So
Hmm.
I have very autistic traits, and I only got diagnosed in 2022, so it's not even that long ago.
Okay.
Uh, so my brain functions so differently, and like how I see things or like how I view things, it's very hard to explain, but um, there's like a learning disability to it. There's a
Hmm.
difficulty. Um, it's like the most simple things can sound like the most very intricate and very like overwhelming thing in my
Okay.
brain, and I wouldn't understand like the task at hand, and that really made me struggle doing uni.
Hmm.
I did have a support tutor who helped me out, and he made things in like bullet points for me to understand. Um, but even like without his help, like I still was like sweating constantly just because of like how I felt like I was a child in comparison to my peers. Even though they tried to help me, I still
Mm.
felt like an idiot almost. Like, oh, that was so easy, that was so simple. Why did I not get that? It's like there's a bit of shame that comes to it as well. And I feel with how social media likes to paint autism as like this quirky little thing, it's a fucking struggle, honestly. Like understanding basic things, even like social, like socially, we
Mm.
struggle doing that. And I like to think that I can understand people like socially. I feel like I can. But there are sometimes where I'm like, I say something out of pocket and I wouldn't realize it because I would feel like I'm helping you out, but I'm being too blunt and I'm being
Oh,
and
okay.
like and like I wouldn't understand it in that moment until they tell me. But I'm
Oh,
thinking like, oh, right,
that's tough.
okay. Like it's really tough. So I have to hold my tongue almost whenever someone comes to me for like any
Okay.
advice. So like, and that's the thing I've been struggling with recently.
Hmm.
But even like this year, when I say like I'm surviving, it's like big emphasis on surviving because I don't even know how I'm actually doing. Like
Oh
this year
no.
has really like this year has like took a turn on me for the worse. Abandonment has been a huge thing for me
Hmm.
this year. I've had people leave my life without
Hmm.
questioning being asked, um, without me having a chance to like ask them like where are you or like why are you leaving me and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And just like having really bad luck this year. And I felt at a certain point, this is a me. Like there must be something wrong with me, or like there's something that the universe is having against me for whatever reason. I try and be a good guy, and yet I got really fucked over this year, and I can't really explain the reasons for why it happened, but it did, and I don't really understand why. Because this was like honestly the worst year of my life, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, bro. I'm sorry to hear that, little bro. But sometimes, and this is just from my experience, there is no answer. And I think that's the hardest part. And because of what you go through with autism as well, the brain may be uh, overworking and
It's like
overthinking
yeah,
and over
it's like
worrying.
yeah, it's like a I
Hyper,
can't
it's like hype senses.
sort of like it's like even in real life when I'm talking to someone, I can't look at them in the eye. Like
Mm,
I would stare at like I would be in contact for like at least 2 seconds, and then my vision's like going somewhere else. I'm taking in everything around me. It's like all information is just going into my brain, and I can't stay fixed on just one person. And like that's why I have a huge struggle, and it's got me in trouble a lot of the times actually with family members. Is that I lack eye contact. And they would tell me this, but I wouldn't really have an answer for it because back then I didn't know I was autistic. Like I only recently just
no, yeah.
so I always got shamed for it. So I don't know how to explain it, but it's just it was never easy for me growing up.
But no, it's lonely.
Very.
Yeah, it's lonely. It's very lonely. Uh, oh man, I'll keep you in my prayers, bro. I mean, it's always a tough road. It's never going to be easy. And when you're suffering something as well, which is even more difficult, where people, your surrounding people are not understanding it. It's like for me to explain people that I suffer chronic pain. Like, they're like, why? And like, why are you not coming to this? And how come you're leaving early? And it's like, listen, I've shown my face, but you don't understand that I am continuously in pain. It's like holding a pine cone.
Mm.
Yeah. And you'd be fine holding that pine cone for like, 2 minutes and saying, oh, you know what? That's all right. But then when you have to hold that pine cone for 24 hours of the day, even while you're sleeping, that you're still in pain, that pine cone is going to be like really painful towards the end of it. And there's only few things that you may do to kind of release that pain, but that pain's always going to be there. It's that board, that fist, like so the just the pain,
Mm.
and people don't understand that. And it's like I got arthritis in my neck, so I'm constantly in pain. So when people are like, they just don't understand it, and you have to continuously explain yourself. But it's awareness. It's making sure that people around your surroundings that they know that you're going through that, and then slowly they'll understand the process. But with what you're going through is lonely. It's not easy. It's and some answers you're never gonna get. Some
I try
answers yeah.
I try and like mask like how I am. Like so with
Mm,
the autism community, there's this phrase called masking. So
Mm.
when we come outside, it would always be like we're putting on a face almost
Hmm.
like being seen very normal. But it kind of runs out. It's like an engine. That engine just runs out and we're kind of back to our normal selves. And that freaks us out because
Mm.
our true selves, some people just might not understand it, like how our brains work, how we talk, like how we think. Some things they could just never understand, so we have to mask it in order to be
Mm.
seen as normal. Um, and it took me quite a while to get a hand like a handle of that, which is why I have a few group of friends where I can be my actual self,
Yeah.
even if it's not me just talking, because sometimes I'm comfortable not talking, but only when it's necessary.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. It's trustworthy, having those trustworthy people around you, and they'll understand as well when you're silent that, it's not something that they pull out on or anything like that.
No.
Uh, Regarding people leaving, and that's always going to be a hard part, dude. That's never going to be an easy thing. And what I've learned in my lifetime is that there's a handful of people that are going to be by your side and they're going to be with you for eternity. Yeah, right till the end. But the people that are going to come in and out that you probably love and adore and you want answers and suddenly just go like that without an answer is that you'll never get that answer and you'll never get that closure. And only time will heal that process. It may take 6 months. It may take 5 years. You know, for me, it's taken a long time. After I got divorced the first time, I think it took 5 years before I met my wife now, and you know, changed my whole life completely. Changed my whole life completely, and I'm been able to do things that probably 20-year-old, 11-year-old kids would never have believed,
Mm.
and that was just because of there is a moment you will find, inshallah, is that the time you let go, you'll know when it happens. You will feel the weight just lift off you. But right now, I don't know. It's weird to say, but you're gonna have to carry that pain and that grief with you till that moment happens. And that's just an experience thing. That's like a long term thing that you're gonna have to kind of learn in the process. How old are you now?
23.
23. Man, you're still a baby, man. Ah, man. Man, I wish I was 23. But those are the things. These are the mistakes. These are the life journeys you're going to go through. It's like there's no advice for it. There's no opinions for it. Like I hate, for me personally, right now, it's like I took on all of this advice and opinions in my 20s, and all it did was actually get me into more shit. I made more mistakes than I've ever made in some people's entire lives. Uh, and I've had to go through some hardships mentally, physically, to try and rectify those things, to become a better person, to not be so selfish. I suffered identity crisis all the way till my 30s, dude. So like some things are just going to take time. Something tragic has to happen for you to rise to the occasion. And I've
Mm.
learned that that's just over time that you're still here, you're still breathing. So there's a reason, right?
Yeah.
There is a reason. There's always a reason. Somebody actually reminded me that this weekend. My brother's back in town, and just to catch up with him and me telling him what I'm going through, like mentally, physically, and like feeling like I'm alone in this. Let alone knowing that I've got all my loved ones around me still, uh, friends, family. But those five
Mm.
people, like I said, my five people that are still there, those are the main ones that keep me grounded, keep me humbled, keep me like they're my tangible feeling to this world, like the things that keep me there. Like I see my daughters and it pulls me straight back because I'm like, oof, I almost lost it there for a moment. I could have made the wrong decision, but
Mm.
or the wrong thoughts because the way and if you're religious as well, the way the devil works, man, he can take you to some places, uh, but you're gonna have to figure that out for yourself. And that's just me telling you from my experience, and that's
Mm.
hard enough. Feeling like the outsider, struggling with what you're struggling with as well. It's not a struggle, sorry. disability. It's a disability.
Yeah.
Sorry, that you're going through. It's your own self journey, and it's hard enough for anybody else to come pick out on that as well, and give you reasons why they left and the rest of it. Like you start asking those questions for, you're gonna probably ask that for about a year or so till you get kind of fed up with asking those questions yourself, and just say, you know what, I'm still waking up in the morning. What do I do next? Like, what's going on next? Like, how do I defeat hardship? With more hardship that's going to come along. As you said, this year has been very tough. I'm not going to even back out on that. It's been a tough year for me as well. Uh, and I felt like it's actually just got worse and worse. And I suppose the more I am in touch with faith and self belief, that I still wake up in the morning, even if I had 3 hours sleep. I work night shifts as well. Uh, I got to get the kids to school. I got to get them ready. I got to give them breakfast. I got to do my duties. It's hard enough because you kind of think, is life just going to be a routine like that? No, there's going to be good things that come along with it as well. But I think you're on your journey at the moment now. So ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't know if you journal. Do you journal by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do journal. Does that help?
Yeah, like, quite a few times, yeah, it does help. But that same feeling just keeps coming back to me every single time. Even if I write it down on my journal,
Yeah.
it's that same feeling that just keeps running back into me.
Mm.
It's like I can't really switch it off. It just keeps happening.
And is that because of with the year you've had already? And is that because of, has it in like, sorry, has that, what's the word?
Impacted?
Has that, yeah, like, has it impacted more because of that person that left?
That it was like a domino effect, if I'm being honest. Like that
Okay.
one person left, and then everything just kind of just went spiraling down. Almost like everyone was just, well, a select few were just leaving without saying goodbye.
Hmm.
Uh, Going into into religion, because I
Mm-hmm.
spoke a little bit about religion. Like, what's your relationship with with the religion?
Got much stronger, much better, better understanding as
Mm.
kids. And listen, mum and dad, if if mum and dad do listen, they do listen to some of the clips sometimes. And she always says, "You're always swearing so much." Younger, they taught us to read the Quran, understand the Islamic religion, not making sure that we understand what words we're reading as well. Uh, Only after my 30s, I got much closer to the religion,
Mm.
understanding it, accepting it, and having that conversation with God. I've noticed, it doesn't matter what religion you are, having that conversation with God. And if you have belief, that faith, having that conversation with God, like I have that conversation before I start work in the evenings to get me home safe. That you have that kind of, he has that, it's that control over like what could happen because you hear stories, man. Like, I'm hearing so many young brothers passing away because they're driving in car crashes, they're taking helium and stuff like that and hurting themselves. And it's like, what's happening to my community at the moment now? They get like, they're so far fetched. I
Yeah.
realize that religion is a tough thing where people have this, we're in a world now where we need physical proof. We need to be able to touch this truth to make me believe in something. But I feel like, as I've got older in my years, and I think after like 32, 33, after the first divorce, it kind of honed me back in. Because as you said, after that happened, life dipped, man. I did stuff that I can't even say. Well, actually, I can say, but I did stuff that I shouldn't have done. Like I'm not proud of. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, I'm not proud of. But it brought me back to religion. It brought me back to Allah. It brought me back to believing in the message, reading it and understanding it. Now, reading it in Arabic, but making sure you're reading it in English to get the translation right as well. And remember, people interpret things in so many different ways.
Mm.
This is a book that's never been changed, yeah? But people still adapt it to their own ways. We're a
Yeah.
society that adapt it in their own ways. The
Like
kind of thing yeah. Sorry?
it's like the interpretation's up to anyone. right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think, but like me and my brothers and my sister, we've always seen religion. Like my parents have always segregated people, Sunni, Shia, all the rest of it. Where I see people as one, and I think this is where we kind of break divide on things. Like I'm really close to him right now, and the way I have my conversations, the way I do my prayers, and the way I read it and understand it for myself, and what sort of peace it brings me.
Mm.
But people can take it to the extreme levels and the next levels, and the way the narrative is in the world right now. I think it's really up to you and how and what you believe in. I think that's the hardest part. Is once you start
Yeah.
believing, then things like hardship changes. Like even though this year has been shit and it's been hard, but the prayers have kept me to a point where it's like kept me sane. Like, there's hardship. It says it in the Quran, there's gonna be a hardship. You're gonna go through all sorts of shit. But keeping that connection like aligned is so important. That's how I've seen it. It's like keeping that connection aligned. It's like my go-to thing at the moment, and it's like how it is for other people. Like everybody has a go-to thing. It could be music, comic books, doing a drawing keeps you aligned in the perspective of what you're doing and how you're feeling as well. And you'll see it in your artwork or the music you listen to or the film that you want to watch to kind of realign yourself. Everybody can find religion in or anything, to be honest, and that's how I've seen things. I'm a bit open minded about it, and I still believe in my faith and everything. But I feel like people can find religion in anything and kind of have that tangible feeling to it.
Mm. I think like for me,
Hmm.
religion has been a very tricky concept to understand. I mean, I'm proud to be a Muslim. I wouldn't
Hmm.
change it for them. But I think my relationship with Islam has always been estranged, if that
Hmm.
makes any sense. It always felt like like I was looking through the window rather than actually being inside. How do I explain it?
Ah. No,
Like
you're
every
right. That's actually good. That's actually a good explanation. Yeah.
like when I was a kid, my mom tried putting me in the mosque, but
Hmm.
for whatever reason, I didn't feel like I can really see myself going it. Like I felt in my heart that I just couldn't stay in the mosque. Like there was just something about me that was so different compared to the other kids. Like they can read the surahs, they can
Hmm.
read these, they can speak the language. I couldn't, and
Hmm.
years, even leading into my teenage years, when a couple of my friends would go to the mosque and we'll pray, um, I would always join them. But I always felt like an outsider for whatever reason. Even though I have the same skin color, from the same religion, I still felt like I wasn't one of them. And I felt so insecure about that.
Hmm.
Even during prayer, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And I was almost like copying what they were doing with their hands, with
Hmm.
you know, I didn't really know what to even say during prayer. Like I really didn't. I just kept my mouth shut and just sort of kept talking to myself, being like, "Oh, I really hope I don't, like shit myself off like this. Oh, I'm freaking out here." And leading into my young adult years, from 17, 18, 19 onwards to now, my relationship with Allah has just been very, very strange. Because I'm
Hmm.
out of like I don't know what He wants from me, if that makes any sense. Like the way that I've suffered throughout my entire life and in my teenage years to my young adult years, I'm like thinking to myself, like, I'm not angry, but I'm just like, what do you want from me? I don't understand. Like, I keep getting hurt. I keep
Hmm.
getting, you know, left, abandoned, and like having people think that I'm a terrible human being.
Hmm.
What's this test that I'm supposed to be going through? Because there's always like a test, right? Every Muslim believes they're going through a test in life.
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what's this test that I'm going through because I don't understand it. And like, I often find myself being jealous of other Muslims as well, being very envious in how their life has gone and how
Hmm.
it's turned around because they've seen the signs. I've talked to my mom about it. I've said to her like I don't know what the signs are. Like what am I missing? Am I really that different? And I've been struggling with this concept that like I am happy to be a Muslim and I wouldn't change it. But there are points in my life where I'm just like, I really can't deal with this anymore. I really can't. I don't want no mixed signals. I don't want nothing
Mm.
to do with me having to, go through a test. Like I don't want this pain anymore, man. I don't want this. And like I don't know how to continue with my life like this.
Oh, bro.
And I wouldn't consider myself a perfect Muslim by any means. Like I wouldn't.
None of us are.
Yeah,
None of us
none of
are.
us.
None of us
Yeah,
are. None of us
like
are. And there's no perfect person. There is no perfect person, and you shouldn't see it that way. But oh man, it's a tough one because this is your self journey, right?
yeah,
There is nothing I can say to try and help you along that journey. You know, they always tell us to spread the message, help every brother and sister you can, but there are some situations where you're like, anything that I could say may work, but it could backfire like crazy.
mm,
And the test of faith, it's not in my control. I've realized that. There's times I've had issues with the religion and questioning back and talking more about it. We grew up in an era where we were told not to question it. Actually, Allah wants you to question it. That's what I've learned. He wants you to question it. He wants you to have those difficult conversations with him. Uh, but it's up to you. At the end of the day, what I've learned is that it's really up to you. If you feel like you can't keep the short, like the passion of it going, then you know what you have to do. It will
mm,
come to you. Challenges, as I said it right at the beginning of the podcast, is that it's never meant to be easy. It never will be easy.
mm,
And I feel like we are pushed this narrative where, yeah, it'd be okay, it'd be okay. No, it won't be. And that's the hardship. Is once you accept that, you realize, oh shit, there are some good moments in there. There
mm,
are some fun times in there, but I've had to struggle so hard to actually appreciate those moments. Uh, and for me, all I could do is send loads of prayers to your side as well. Like, I don't just pray, and I think people that do listen to the podcast that are not Muslim, that we don't pray just for ourselves. We pray for everybody else in the process as well. Uh, but there's some things that you have to struggle by yourself, dude, and that's hard enough. I've done CBT, I've done counseling, and the same thing. What I've learned from doing all of that is that I have to pull myself out of this gutter. I have to bring food on this table for these kids. I have to do this. So if I'm going to get 3 hours sleep, then I'm going to get 3 hours sleep and I'll continue doing what I need to do. But that's
yeah,
my hustle, my pain, my struggle. You know, uh, you're going to go through, as you said, you're going through a different path right now. But answers, we're always seeking answers. What I've learned is that we're always going to seek answers.
yeah,
Some answers will be given to us, some won't. And I think it's accepting that. Like, there's going to be, points where you're going to like, I'm never going to get the answer for that, but fuck it, I'm going to keep going.
yeah,
And I think that's what I've learned is that resilience. Like, I see it from my dad, I see it from my mum, resilience. Their resilience is insane because they are the toughest people in the world. They maybe did some shit wrong along the way, but they are the toughest generation I know to have gone through all the shit that they've gone through to come here to give us a life. And still doing it now. Like, I'm like, how? Like, just chill, man, relax. Like, you guys done your time, but they're resilient, man. They never talked about any of these things. And I've only had, I can say like a really one-to-one with my father where it was a conversation where it was like, this shit is hard, man. I can't, why am I here? Like, what am I doing this for? You know? And he told me, it's the first time he opened up to me. And he said, you're going to have to go through this shit. I went through this shit. You're gonna have to go through this shit. So like, there's never a simple answer, bro. Uh, and then without sounding like sympathy or anything like that, it's just you know, you probably hate people saying, "Oh shit, sorry man, you're going through this shit" and all the rest of it. I'm a different type of person, and you're just gonna have to go through it. Honestly, you just because your senses are heightened as well with your disability as well. That's going to be extra hard. That's never even you're on extra hard level mode right now in this game that we're in at the moment. Now, it didn't start from easy. You've gone full on extra hard and joined in this way, and I think that's going to be the hardest part of trying to go through your journey is that you're going to go through things extra hard, and I can only hope you endure and persevere and you come out on the other end and say, you know what, shit, it's all right. I'm okay. And I think that's the most important part is that you're able to say that I'm okay,
Yeah.
even though I moan and shit about life. I'm okay. Fuck. He's giving me one more chance to wake up in the morning. I'm
Mm.
gonna have to burden this pain and get through the day. Yeah, inshallah, you be able to go through that process, and then it's your realignment with your beliefs and how you do it. Doesn't matter if you don't know the
Yeah.
surahs and the rest of it. It took me ages. I forgot my surahs by the time I hit 30. I had to relearn everything. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to because I went through a pit. I don't even want. I don't. I probably haven't even spoke about this, but I will one day. It's not correct to say it on here because uh, even though probably most of my relatives and family members do already know, but I went to like hardship with substances and all sorts of other stuff.
Mm.
Didn't really help me in that process, and I lost my connection. And I think that's why I had to go through that to be realigned to my beliefs again, and to have that conversation, whether it's doing salah or just driving and having a conversation and just saying, like shit, how do I deal with this shit right now? Because it's getting harder now, and it's like my tolerance level is shortened every time because I can't take shit anymore. I keep playing this kind of victim mentality where I should be able to just say, all right, fuck it, it's done. Like, what do we do next? How do we fix this? Like solutions. I need to find solutions and be able to be more resilient like my father was and just find things quickly done. And I think that's the hardest part is that there are some things that I'm just never going to know the answer for. And I have to deal with it in different ways, which I have got resilient a little bit more in my later years. But yeah, you find your
It's
way. It's
it's
finding your
especially
way. Yeah.
it's especially hard for like from the brown community to even talk about this kind of stuff because it the way that we've been brought up, the way that we've been told, we're meant to be like strong, individuals, and
Yeah.
being Muslims, we have to put our faith in God all the time, and
Hmm.
we, have to, anything that we go through, we always brush it to the side almost, and not kind of view ourselves as humans. Like when I see, um, like those Dawa boys on the internet, I often think to myself like, are you guys even like human? Because I don't even think you understand like emotions. Like what's going on in your heads? I don't understand. Like I get you're trying to you know keep up an image of Muslims being like very perfect individuals, but that's like the opposite of how Muslims are now. Like in today's world, we're not perfect, and it's like you said, we're not perfect individuals. We sin, but we
Hmm.
strive to be better human beings. But we don't want to paint ourselves as being perfect because that's not how we are.
No, we shouldn't be. And I think
The
that's
religion,
where,
the religion is perfect, but we aren't.
yes,
That's one of the things that I
100%.
I want like that instilled in people's heads, especially when they see Muslims. Like we don't want to paint ourselves as perfect people. We're
We're not.
just as average as anyone else.
Exactly. 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 Oh, man. People need to know that, though. And it's correct. And I think we spread a lot of misinformation, right?
Yeah.
And that's social media for yourself in general. It spreads a lot of misinformation. And I think that's where we need to kind of hone down on. And I always
Mm,
tell people, do your research, go through your history. You know what I mean? Learn what you can learn in the process, and go from there. But we as human beings, man, we are far from perfect. We are far from perfect. We have so complicated on like different levels and different multitudes. Like it's crazy. Uh, we problematic. That's what I've seen.
mm.
What I've learned more in the past 2 years is we are so problematic, so divided. Oh, it's crazy at the moment now, and it's hard to kind of. I feel like I'm just trying to fight battles for all sorts of reasons,
Mm.
and that's because my selfish nature is not there no more. I used to be one selfish bastard, man, and I think that's where me trying to take on everything else around the world has started to make me feel a bit overwhelmed. But you know, I got feelings, I got empathy. Kind of can't stand by with people that don't have a voice at the moment now. I'm coming from a background where I was heavily bullied back in school. So, like, why wouldn't I stand up for people and the human race? Don't matter your creed, your background, where you're coming from. You know what I mean? I
It
think we
seems like
just,
it just seems like a very controversial opinion nowadays, isn't it?
yes, definitely. So it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, bro. Uh, I gotta go pick up the kids.
Ah, yeah.
But I wanted to say, like, I know we didn't even get to like the geeky parts of things, because I saw a couple of
Okay.
Spider-Man posters behind you.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so we will do another. I'm going to invite you back on to come on for another episode. But first of all, uh, thank you for your openness and your honesty. I think that's such an important trait in people at the moment now, and that you're able to talk about this with me. Uh,
Mm.
Thank you very much, bro.
No, thank you for bringing me on, and I appreciate you opening up as well, just as much as I did.
No, no. I think like that's probably one of the most honest conversations we've ever had on this podcast. So it's going to resonate with a lot of people on the episode, because usually we do, like, even though we touch on like how we're going and what we're doing,
Mm.
like mentally as well, we don't have actually honest, open conversations like this because of the time frame.
Yeah, sure.
I think, as you said, go with the flow, and you went with the flow with an open conversation. I hope it resonates with a lot of the people that watch and listen. That you're not alone. Everybody is going through something, and that you can have these honest conversations, whether it's not live on a podcast, but between friends and family. I think it's
Yeah.
really important to be able to open up to friends and family to say that I'm not okay, I'm broken. I wear this hoodie, and it says my daughter's always like, "Daddy, why do you wear this hoodie?" But I just want people to know, like, it says I'm broken, but it says I'm okay in between.
Mm.
And it's like, I am. We are.
Like
We're
wear,
all broken.
like wear your emotions on your sleeves,
100%.
and
That's how I see it.
especially as Muslims. If any Muslims are listening to this, please understand you don't need to paint yourselves as perfect. You really don't need to do that. And
Yes.
for the guys, Muslim men that are probably watching this, please sort yourselves out. Like honestly, you lot need to get fixed. Like understand yourselves. Trauma, all right. Understand your own trauma. Understand you got.
100%.
It doesn't make you feminine. Just understand that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. I think I've learnt more over the past couple of years to open up, having those open conversations. That's why I'm so upfront.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so upfront, and I think that's taught me to try and push that as well to people, to men and South Asian men as well. Like,
Yeah.
we got this shit stick stuck up our ass, man. To have this like pride, like, bro, I've got kids in the car. Why are you screaming and shouting for? Like, what, like, what's up with the screaming and shouting? Like, where's your respect? Where's your humanity? What's this pride? What is it? You cut me up.
Mm.
You cut me up, so I horned. I don't want my kids being in danger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're coming out of the car and doing all of this dancing around. Like, what's going on, bro? Like, come on,
Mm.
listen. I hope you're okay. Like, I always tell people, like, I work on a TikTok shop, and we have a lot of like racism and a lot of calling out things and the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, people always say, Kibbs, how do you remain so calm in those situations? And yes, I maybe use a little bit of sarcasm, but I really want to know, like, them people are going through some shit in their heads mentally. For them to be calling it out live like that, even if it's text, it's like, bro, I hope you're okay. Or, like, I don't know what you're going through to be saying things like that. Like, I hope you're okay. And if you need to talk, that you could drop a message and just have a conversation. I think
I,
it's important for inviting people in, because I think that's what teaches us in Islam as well, is invite people in, man. Like, have that conversation and bring people some sort of, goodness.
yeah, I always try to play like the devil's advocate. I'm always looking at perspectives, and I don't know if you would do that as well, but I'm always looking at two different perspectives from, you know, when I was with my friends, and if they had any problems with like relationships and stuff like that, I'm always offering two different perspectives. It's like my empathy is always, okay, this is your perspective, this is probably the other person's perspective. Let's look at these and logically let's think about this, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes it does work in their favor. Sometimes their perspective is probably more, important than the other person because that person probably did something really shitty. So there's always that. So I'm always offering like perspectives and understanding human nature, honestly, like people, how they operate. And I'm always coming from a place of empathy and sincerity, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
No, definitely, definitely. You got to see both sides of the story, or we'll
Yeah.
never know the truth. And I think that's the lifestyle that we are in now, is that people only want to just give you the one side story, and
Yeah.
it's like, figure it out from both sides. If it doesn't match up, then there's something wrong.
Mm.
It takes two to go through shit. To
Yeah.
tango, or whatever they say. Like, it takes two, honestly. And like, people can't admit that. Like, I can admit the amount of times I fucked up. And
Yeah.
just like as you did, as you said, you rectify those issues and then you try and move on.
Yeah.
Uh, that's the important part. That's the important part. But listen, again, thank you for that honest conversation, bro. Really enlightening. And I really hope everybody enjoys that as well. Something different to what we're bringing. And I want to do more of this as well. Like, there's a reason why I do the Cup of Comics episodes, is that we have a mixture of passion and real world stuff. Real world stuff. Like, what's happening with us generally.
Yeah.
Uh, So make sure you guys check those episodes out. They will be. I'll pop up a little card somewhere up here. But thank you so much again for coming on, making that time. But let's make another episode where we can actually geek out, which would be
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
because I know you're a creative as well. You've done so. I've seen some of your artwork as well, which is amazing. Yusuf highly recommended you ages ago, but it has
Yeah.
been insanely crazy to make that time. But what I'll do, I'll drop you a message later on this week. You said you had some time free, and we'll go from there. But again, massive, massive thank you guys for everybody, as always. Everybody that's subscribed to the channel, people that are watching it, all the love on the socials as well. Thank you so much, as always. Thank you so much for everybody who donates to medical aid for Palestine. You guys are absolutely amazing. Last month, we didn't reach our target, which is fine. It's my fault. I've been off my personal Instagram, for a little while. I only post here and there at the moment, but I'm always grateful for the messages we get and the people that get inspired. Again, it's only for that one person. It's not for the masses. Whoever, the one person who messages is like the most important part. So I'm super grateful for that. Super grateful for you, bro, as well, bro. Inshallah, I'll keep you in my prayers and dua as well. And we will connect. We have to have that geek out session. We need to talk about art. We need to talk about all the geeky stuff as well. As much as I love this conversation, this was a great conversation. Great conversation, bro. So thank you so much for that. And we'll catch you up on the next show, guys. Massive, massive thank you. We have got a new episode out with Atia, who did an interview with Barnaby Roper, who was the director of All the Devils Are Here. Make sure you guys check that out on the channel. And then, yeah, one love. Peace.